It's a great cake. You would do yourself well to make this cake. Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Jason. This is Art of Creation Homestead, and we're in the kitchen one more time for a beautiful cake that right now we're gonna make it for Christmas Day. Okay, that's real, but it's good for any time. It uses our home canned applesauce. Angela Kay has formulated this inner mind, this mastermind food scientist that she is. Well, not food scientist, but you know what I mean. Anyways, she's got this going on. It's a applesauce cake with a maple buttercream icing, and she's gonna take care of it from here. Okay.
This is super simple. You do not even need a mixer for this. Just a bowl and a spoon of some sort.
Apparently you need some butter too.
Yeah. In this bowl, we have 1 stick, which is a ½ cup of unsalted butter. Now, as you can see, it's extremely softened. I softened this at room temperature, and then I also microwaved it for like 10 seconds till it was just almost melty. We have a 1.5 cups of granulated sugar and a ½ cup of firmly packed brown sugar, light brown sugar. Now, you're just gonna mash those together. And it shouldn't be hard. This is why you need the butter to be really softened, because you want to be able to mash it together without having to pull out a mixer. Because this should be super simple. This is all worked together now. And as you can see, it's like, it almost looks like wet sand. Now to this, we are going to add 2 large eggs. See, it's 2 large eggs and 2 teaspoons of vanilla.
That's the reason why the eggs don't look like normal. There's vanilla in there.
Yes. look at that yolk when I split that. It comes from good girls who are laying good.
I was gonna say, we actually got some chickens laying again, so we have our own eggs.
And we got some good eggs going on.
By the way, we don't recommend eating wet sand, so if you're looking to do something like that, don't use wet sand. It just happens to look like it.
Now you want to thoroughly incorporate those eggs in, so that there's no streaks of egg in there, because you don't want scrambled eggs in your cake. So, as you can see, that just took a very few minutes. Now we are going to add this beautiful applesauce, which is the best applesauce I've ever tasted.
Home canned applesauce. Good stuff.
This is 1.5 cups of applesauce. If you don't can your own, you can just use your favorite brand. And if you do want to can your own, we have a video on it. Now you mix your applesauce in. As long as you are mixing these ingredients in, you can mix it as much as you want, because you don't have no gluten in here. So you're not working gluten and making it for a tough cake. So you can mix this as much as you want.
Until you put the flour in.
Until you put the flour in. And see, it's going to look broken right now. It's going to look broken. It will look better once I add the dry ingredients. And here are our dry ingredients. We have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. We have 1 teaspoon of baking powder. We have a ½ teaspoon of salt. We have 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We have 3/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, and we have a ½ teaspoon of allspice. And you want to take a whisk and whisk all that together. Now it's all mixed together. Now we're going to dump it in to this. Now we're going to dump in about half of it. That way you get a good mix on it. Now we're going to mix all of that flour in. And as you can see, this is super easy. This is going to be a cake you can throw together really quickly. I also forgot to tell you, we have the oven preheating to 350 degrees. And we also have a 13x9 pan sprayed with some cooking spray. You can spray it with cooking spray or you can grease and flour it, either one. Now we are going to dump in the rest of our flour mixture, because it's not just flour. And you want to stir this in completely. Make sure there's no lumps of dry powder or no lumps of anything in there. You want to make sure it's one mixture. Now, didn't I tell you that would come together? And see, it made a beautiful batter.
Yep, sure did.
Now we're just gonna dump our batter into our nicely greased pan. And as you can see, that was quick and easy.
Well, it's at least 9 minutes, because that's how long we've been videoing. Now, but you won't see all that. Some of this is edited.
Now you want to spread it out evenly in your pan. And this smells so good. You can smell that applesauce, you can smell the spices. It smells so good. Now, you want to put this in a 350 degree oven until it starts to brown on top, and when you touch the top, that it will spring back on you. That it won't sink in with your fingerprints and leave your fingerprints there, but your fingerprints will pop back up.
However, you could claim your own piece and say, nope, I want that one. Just poke a hole in it, say it's mine.
So now this is going in the oven. This beautifulness is out of the oven, and the whole house smells delicious.
Yeah, it really does.
It only took about 30 minutes to bake, and you want to bake it until it's nice and brown like this. You want to insert a toothpick in the center, and when there are moist, when it comes out with moist crumbs on the toothpick, not wet batter, not dry, that's when it's perfect to take out of the oven. It will carry over cook and bake perfectly. Where if you pull out the toothpick and it's dry, it's going to be overbaked.
And it's going to be a moist cake anyways, right?
Yes, it's going to be a moist cake. But here's another way you can tell. Look here at the edge. When you pull on it just gently, it's pulling away from the side of your pan. You know it's perfectly baked then.
Yep.
Now you're going to let this cool completely. No heat left on it at all before I start showing you how to make the icing. So now we're going to make the maple buttercream. In this bowl, I am using a KitchenAid stand mixer. You don't have to. You can use just a regular hand mixer. I have 2 sticks, which is 1 cup of unsalted butter, and this is at room temperature. You want it really soft. See, when you push on it, it gives. You want it really soft. And you want to whip this, to make a good buttercream, you want to whip this until it's really soft and really creamy and light in color. So that could take a couple of minutes. Okay, it's all light and fluffy, and it's, as you can see, it's lightened in color a lot.
Oh yeah.
So now you want to add to that 2 cups of powdered sugar.
All at once.
All at once. So be careful when you start this mixer.
Start slow.
Start it on low. Otherwise, you're going to be wearing the powdered sugar. So now you want to mix this until it all comes together. And it will look very thick at that point, but we're going to thin that out. As you can see, it looks very thick. Now we are going to add our maple syrup. At this point, it may all come together, but you may also have to add, if it's still a little too loose, you may want to add a little bit more powdered sugar, but we will see what that looks like after we beat in the maple syrup. But you want to scrape down your bowl. That's very important to make sure you don't have any dry pockets of powdered sugar in there.
Yeah, good point. Actually. Now, are you using less sugar because of the maple syrup?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Because this buttercream would normally take anywhere from 3 to 4 cups of powdered sugar.
Oh.
So to this, we are adding a half a cup of pure maple syrup.
The good stuff.
And to this, I have added 2 teaspoons of vanilla and a pinch of salt.
And a pint of hard liquor.
No.
Obviously not, because there's nothing with liquid there.
No.
That's the Jack Devils.
You sound like Barney Fife when he gets drunk. For those of you who don't know, we're huge Andy Griffith fans.
Andy Griffith fans.
Okay, so now you want to turn this on low once again and start whipping in your maple syrup. It's going to take a few minutes for this to incorporate and make a good spreadable buttercream. And like I said, you're going to have to keep an eye on it. If it starts to look like it's not going to get tighter and not going to come together, then you may want to add a little bit more powdered sugar. But you've got to remember, when you whip maple syrup, it will start to thicken after a few minutes. Maple syrup will start to thicken. I see it all came together in a very beautiful buttercream.
Nice. Very nice buttercream.
Very good consistency.
Mm-hmm.
You really probably wouldn't think that adding that much maple syrup to it that it would set up like that. See, look, it's not even falling off.
Nope.
So now, you just want to scrape everything down. Make sure that there's nothing that is not incorporated.
Right. Makes sense. Those paddles do seem to hold like butter and cream.
Yes, they do.
But he did good. Like always.
Not really. Sometimes I make mistakes.
No. Never.
Now, you want to scrape down your bowl. Make sure you're mixing in anything. But don't deflate it because it's so puffed up and so beautiful. And at this point, if you taste it and it doesn't taste enough like maple to you, you can add a little bit of maple extract. But I've tasted this and it tastes wonderful.
Awesome.
It tastes wonderful. Jason is sneaking frosting. I think it's going to go great with this cake.
It's going to be awesome.
So now we're going to frost it. So we're just going to, this is our beautiful cake after it's completely cooled. You don't want to put this on when it's not completely cooled.
It'll melt it.
It will melt it with all that butter. And this frosting is
awesome.
Gorgeous.
You did a good job, Beth.
Thank you. Now, I'm just going to frost my cake. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. I can tell you, you will not believe how fluffy this buttercream is. It is so fluffy.
Yeah, you did great.
And so light. And it's not as sweet as a regular buttercream because of that maple syrup.
Yeah.
It tones down the sweetness a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's a frosting. It's sweet, but it's not like going to kill you with sweetness.
And it's going to go so well with that applesauce cake.
I got to be honest with you, Angela, I think it would go well with any cake you put it on.
It probably would. It turned out to be a really good frosting.
Yep.
I can't believe it because I formulated that in my head. So now this needs to go into the refrigerator to chill. Because of the buttercream, you do not want to keep this out at room temperature because your buttercream will start to weep and it will sog up your cake, and also you will start to see little pools of butter starting to form on top, and you don't want that to happen. And also any type of apple cake is usually better cold.
Really is. Brings out the apple
flavor.
flavor.
It will bring out the apple flavor in that applesauce. So you want to chill this. And any leftovers, if there are any, you want to chill those as well.
Alright, so now I haven't got to taste this yet. It's Christmas evening, and we're going to see how this tastes. She did it. Beautiful flavor. Great apple flavor. A little bit of spice. Great, amazing maple frosting. Maple buttercream frosting, but it's a great cake. You would do yourself well to make this cake. So hey, thank you guys so much for watching. We do appreciate it. Again, my name is Jason. That's Angela K. This is our Creation Homestead. I love you guys. God bless you and goodbye. I did have a really strong cup of coffee, so that may be part of the problem. But
What did you do that made it really strong?
I just put extra espresso in it because it's not strong enough. If you don't, it gives you a little weak piece of frou-frou coffee, and I need some strength in my coffee, especially today. But I think I might put one too many. I don't know. I might have an extra shot of espresso in it instead of where you got 2. I normally put 3 up, but I possibly could have put 4 in this one.
Did you for real? Jason.
So what's really going on here is that I'm just like